Namaskar. Cultural history of India. The Indus civilization. B.V. Lal. More than 4,000 years ago, there flourished in the northwestern parts of the Indo-Pakistan subcontinent a civilization which deriving its name from the main river of the region is known as the Indus civilization. In fact, however, it extended far beyond the limits of that valley from Surkagendor Sutkagan on the seaboard of South Baluchistan in the west to Alamgirpur in the upper Ganga Yamuna Doab in Uttar Pradesh in the east, and from Ropar almost impinging upon the sub-Himalayan foothills in the north of Bhagatrav on this is estuary of the Kim, a small river between the Narmada and Tapti in the south. In other words, from west to east, the Indus civilization covered an area of 1600 kilometers, and from north to south of 1100 kilometers. And it will be surprising if future discoveries widen the horizons still further. This is an area much greater than that occupied jointly by the contemporary civilizations of Egypt and Mesopotamia, and all and throughout the region a notably high standard of living was reached, which is reflected in almost every walk of life. The first thing that strike a visitor to an Indus site, be it Harappa or Mohenjo-daro in Pakistan or Kalibangan, Lothal or Sutkodara in India, is the town planning. One finds the streets and lanes laid out according to a set plan. The main streets running from north to south and the cross street and lanes running at right angles to them. At Kalibangan, among the north-south streets, there was a principal one, 7.20 meters wide, while the other north-south streets were three quarters of it with the cross street and lane was up once again half or the quarter of the width of the narrower street from north to south. Such typical and mini, mini, minutely planned residential areas, often called the lower towns, were themselves only a part of the entire settlement complex. For at Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, Kalibangan, and Sutkodara, there was a citadel smaller in area that the lower town and invariably located to the west of it at Lothal, although no citadel as such has been found. A similar conception seems to have existed for the more important structures rested in a group on a high mud brick platform. In marked contrast might be cited the contemporary example of Ur in Mesopotamia, where there was no rigorous planning of this kind, the main street wandering and curving as it wished. Both the Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, the houses were made of kiln-burnt bricks at Kalibangan and Lothal too. Although mud bricks were used for most of the residential houses, kiln-burnt bricks in large quantities were used for drains, wells, and bathing platforms, and in particular for the dockyard at the latter site. Such bricks were rare in contemporary Mesopotamia or Egypt. At Mohenjo-daro and Kalibangan, where large areas have been excavated, an average house consisted of a courtyard around which were situated 4 to 6 living rooms besides a bathroom and a kitchen. Larger houses, however, might have up larger houses, however, might have up to 30 rooms, and the presence of staircases in many of them indicates a second story for the supply of fresh water. Most of the houses had their own wells, and in addition, there were public wells. So, Sule's water was discharged through well well covered street drains made of kiln-burnt bricks. At intervals, they were provided with manholes for clearance. The citadel at Mohenjo-daro contained many imposing buildings, all made of kiln-burnt bricks. For example, the Great Bath, the college, the granary, and the assembly hall. In the bath, the actual tank measured 12 meters in length, north to south 7 meters in width, and 2.5 meters in depth. It was approached by two in depth. It was approached by two staircases, one each on the northern and southern sides. The floor and side walls of the tank were rendered water watertight by the use of gypsum in the mortar, while the sidewalls were further backed by dump-proof cores of bitumen. Around the tank ran a pillared veranda from which there was access to a series of which might be called dressing rooms. The tank was fed with water from a large well situated in the complex, while for the discharge of our used water there was co- corbelled drain in the southwest corner. Whether the bath has a purely secular use or had a religious function as well as is very difficult to say. However, it has been surmised the beneath of the stupa of Kushan period, situated hardly 50, 50 meters to the east of the bath. There may be the remains of a temple, and the this is not improbable, for a kind of worship place has indeed been identified within the citadel at Kalibangan, closely associated well with a well and bathing platforms. Between the bath and the stupa lie the remains of building 83 meters long and 24 meters wide, with a large number of rooms on three sides of a 10-meter square courtyard. The presence of a staircase suggests the possibility of there having been some more rooms besides terraces on the first floor. From a general disposition of the building, the excavator was inclined to regard it as a as the residence of the high priest or of a college of priests. Juxtaposed to the southwestern wall of the bath was a granary covering an overall area of 55 by 37 meters. It consisted of a podium formed by 27 blocks of solid brickwork arranged in three rows of nine each, and separated one from the other by passages about a meter wide. Their latter were evidently provided for the circulation of air underneath the timber floor of the storage hall that stood above the podium. Built on to the northern side of the podium plat- was a platform with a ramp going down to ground level outside. W- mm, To this one can imagine were brought wagon full of wheat and barley for unloading. They, there are many other buildings within the citadel, but one is particularly striking, though not completely excavated. It covers an of area of over 750 square meters. It has 20 massive piles of kiln-burnt bricks arranged in four rows of five each, with traces of corresponding uh, pilasters at the end. Thus, there are six asles from north to south, and least five from at least five from west to east, and further plan on the east being incomplete. The building was very probably an assembly hall, which would fit the general context of other specialized buildings in the citadel. Harappa was regarded as another capital of the Indus Empire. Here, hardly any excavation has been done in the lower city to the east of the citadel. In fact, even within the citadel, the sporadic diggings have not helped very much to produce a coherent picture of the enclosing wall. However, many details are available. A section cut across it at about the middle of the western side showed that it was built of mud bricks, externally riveted and tiled bricks. The mud bricks wall measured over 30 meters in width at the base and tapped inwards on both the exterior and interior. At places, it was found to rise to a height of about 15 meters above the surrounding plain. Behind it was a 7-meter high mud brick platform upon which stood the buildings inside the citadel. Externally, the citadel wall was punctuated at places by rectangular towers, and the one at the northwest corner shows that it was substantially rebuilt on 3 occasions. The lack of data regarding the buildings inside the citadel is more than compensated for by what has been excavated to the north. In its shadows, there lay the workmen's quarters, their working platforms, and a granary. A granary, the entire complex suggesting a high degree of uh, regimentation of the working population, enclosed by a boundary wall of which only odd bits are now to be seen. The workmen's quarters stood in 2 rows, running from east to west, each dwelling covering an area of about 17 by 7 meter, comprised 2 rooms and was entered through an oblique passage, evidently so arranged for privacy. The remarkable uniformity of these reminds one of modern barracks and all that they imply. Immediately to the north of these quarters have been identified 5 east-west rows of working platforms, and although 6 is the maximum number excavated in any row, there were doubtlessly many more made of kilburns bricks set on as in circular rings. Each platform measured about 3.5 meters in diameter. Excavation has revealed a central hole about 60 centimeters in diameter, into which it is surmised was inserted a wooden mortar for pounding grain. Such a guess is supported on the one hand by the presence of straw or husk and wheat and barley in the hole and on the platform, and on the other by the location of a granary barely 100 meters to the north. Why the granary at Harappa, unlike at that the Mohenjo-daro was located outside the citadel is a matter for debate. The proximity of the river Ravi may be the answer, enabling the harvest from the neighboring countryside to be transported by water direct to the granary as to its safe control, which its location within the fortified citadel would have otherwise guaranteed. It may be assumed that an ever vigilant eye was kept over the entire area, right from the coolie quarters through the workshops up to the granary, comprising 2 blocks. The granary complex occupied an overall area of 55 by 43 meters. Each of the block contains 6 storage halls, each hall measuring 15 by 6 meters externally. As in the case of Mohenjo-daro, here also air ducts were provided underneath the floor. Pottery is found in very large quantities at all ancient sites, and many will be regarded as the index to the economic and artistic standard of the population. Standard which may also be reflected in a few sculptural or other artistic pieces that survive. The Indus people used a very characteristic sturdy red ware made of well navigated and very well fired clay. Often it had a red slip and was painted over in black pigment with a variety of pleasing design, floral as well as geometric. Sometimes birds, animals, and human figures were depicted. The terracotta figurines, human as well as animals, show vigor, variety, and anti-genuity. The often illustrated short-horned bull from Mohenjo-daro and a similar one from Kalibangan are among the most powerful portrayals of the animal from any ancient civilization. The human heat from Kalibangan, though only an inch in height, is a keen competitor from the point of view of expression and art, with the head of the famous statite figure from Mohenjo-daro, the female figure and with their head dresses and be- bedecked bodies, though hand modeled, are indeed pleasing little things. And then there are the terracotta toys, some of which are to be noted for their ingenuity. For example, a bull with a mobile head and a monkey going up and down a string. The Indus people had a highly developed art of making a stone sculpture in the round. There is a striking uh, statite figure of a beard man supposed to be a priest from Mohenjo-daro. The inward-looking eyes and the serene expression induce a reflective, meditative mood. In the art of mental sculpture, too, great heights were achieved. The famous bronze female figure from Mohenjo-daro, supposed to represent a dancing girl with her right hand poised on the hip, her bracelet covered left arm swung to rest on the bent left leg, a necklace dangling between her breast, and above all, her well-braided head, uh, haughtily thrown back is a perfect piece of art. In this case, the feet are missing, but one is tempted to imagine that she wore anklets as shown in another fragmentary bronze sculpture of which only the lower portion is preserved. But the Indus artist was at his best when he dealt with his seals cut out of satire. The seals are usually 20 to 30 millimeters square. On the obverse is an inscription, generally accompanied by an animal figure. On the reverse, a perf- perforated note, evidently for suspension. It is in the engraving of these seals that the great gifts of the Indus Valley artist are especially reflected. Indeed, there can be no two opinions about the superb depiction on the seals of the Brahmani bull, which is a swinging dewlap pronounced hump and muscular body. Thus, the Indus people were literate in fully borne out by the inscriptions on the seals. The occurrence of inscriptions even on pottery and hundred and other household objects further shows that literacy was not confined to a select few. The script seemingly pictographic and having nearly 400 sign has not yet been deciphered. However, overlaps of the sign inscribed on some potsherds discovered in Kalibangan clearly show that the direction of writings was from right to left, while reading and writing are duly attested to by these inscriptions. Proficiency in the third are arithmetic is clearly shown by the cleverly organized system of weights and measures made usually of chart and cubicle in shape. The weight fall in the progression of 1 to 8 3 8 3 8 upon 3 8 16 32 etc up to 12,800. The scale of ivory or shell indicate a foot of about 13 to 13.2 and a cubit of 20.3 to 20.8 inches mentioned in this. The Indus civilization represented a perfect Bronze Age, though cha- chat blades continues to be used for certain specific purposes. Bronze objects for domestic use included knife blades, saws, stickles, chisels, shells, razors, pins, tweezers, fish hook, and the like. Those for defense or offense comprise spears, arrowheads, and short swords. That bronze was used in plenty is shown by its employment for non-essential item like vessels. However, as in most other contemporary civilizations of the world, agriculture was the backbone of the Indus economy. The extensive use of kiln burnt bricks for the firing of firing of which plenty of plenty of wood was needed, and the frequent depiction of jungle fauna such as the tiger, bisons, and rhinoceros on the seals suggests the possibility of there having been more rainfall during the Indus period than there than there is now. Today, it is news if Mohenjo-daro gets even 10 centimeter of rain during the whole year. Moreover, dry channels occurring close to the sites shows that in ancient time the Indus, Ravi, and Ghaggar, Satluj, and Bo- Bhogabo flowed respectively on the outskirts of the Mohenjo-daro, Harappan, Kalibangan, Ropar, and Lothal. Thus, there was an adequate water supply which, coupled with a rich alluvial soil, produced crops of wheat and barley, besides bananas, melons, and peas. However, perhaps the most remarkable agricultural achievements was the cultivation of cotton. Even Egypt did not produce it until several centuries after it has grown in the Indus Valley. The Indus population, particularly of the cities, was a cosmopolitan one. It included Mediterranean, Proto-Australid, Alpine, and Mongoloid. In keeping with such a mixed population, there was a wide variety of religious practices. The portrayal on several seals of a horned, three-faced figure surrounded by various animals, wild and domesticated, brings to mind the conception of Shiva in the form of Pashupati, the lord of animals. There was also the worship of the mother goddess, the adoration of trees and streams, or perhaps the spirits supposed to be residing in them, is also suggested by the relevant data. A belief in life hereafter is evident from the burial practice, according to which, along with the dead person, were also objects like mirrors, antimony, roots, mothers of pearl shells, and a large number of pots, some of which in life seems to have been used for eating and drinking. In some cases, a fall was also placed in the grave, grave pit. For some reason now unknown, the body is invariably to be found lying from north to south, the head being towards the north. Contacts with Contracts with Western Asia are suggested on the one hand by the occurrence at the Indus sites of articles of known Western origin. For example, spiral and animal-headed pins, mace heads, socketed edge axis of copper or bronze, and vases of uh, chloride is just with typical hut and window decoration, and on the other by the finds of seals and ceilings of the Indus style at West Asian sites such as uh, Ur, Susa, Umma, Lagas, and Tel Asmar. In most recent years, a seal has been found at Lothal, which is more or less of the same type as those found at contemporary sites on the Persian Gulf, such as uh, Barbar, Rasal Kala, and Failaka. Failaka. This discovery combined with that of the dockyard at the same site pro- proves beyond doubt that the trade with Western Asia was, at least in part, ma- maritime. Overland trade with Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan, and cultural Asia also seems to have taken place. What brought the Indus cities to an end has long been a matter of debate. The occurrence in the habitation area at Mohenjo-daro of some human skeleton, including one of which the skull bears the marks of a cut, has been in, interpreted as evidence of a massacre at the hands of the invading Aryans. This view, however, now seems untenable. In the first place, the skeleton do not all belong to one and the same occupation level, which should also be to which should also be the latest, making the end of the Indus settlement. Second, at the site there is no evidence of an alien culture immediately overlying the Indus one. To save the situation, the post Indus uh, cemetery H at Harappa has been brought into the picture. It has, however, been demonstrated elsewhere by the present writer that there were an appreciable time lag between the end of the Indus civilization and the beginning of the cemetery H. Thus, the cemetery H people can hardly be regarded as invaders if those invaded has ceased to exist at the time, and to regard the cemetery H people as Aryans is fraught with still greater difficulties in the present state of our knowledge. Such people are conspicuously absent from the Ghaggar, ancient Saraswati, Satluj, and Upper Ganga valleys, regions where the early Aryans are known from their own literature to have resided. Another theory ascribed the end of the Indus civilization to heavy flooding. This may, however, be only partially one, for while some evidence of devastation by floods is to be found at Mohenjo-daro and Lothal. There is no such evidence in respect of other sites, for example, Kalibangan, here perhaps in drying up of the Ghaggar, gradual or sudden, owing either to climatic changes or to the diversion of the waters resulting from factors at or near their source, may have been the cause of the desertion of the site. Pa- Pestilence and the erosion of the surrounding landscape owing to overexploitation may also be a reason for the end of certain settlements. Be that as it may, there is enough evidence to show that the great Indus civilization did not come to a sudden dead end. For example, at Lothar, from its period A Indus to B post Indus, there is a gradual change in the pottery and the disappearance or replacement by others of certain kinds of antiquities. This devotion is further continued by the neighboring site of Rangpur. Likewise, the change of fact is also indicated by the evidence from sites in eastern Punjab and northwestern Uttar Pradesh. The Indus civilization no doubt fell all the same. It left many indelible imprints on the later day cultures of the subcontinent. Thank you.